I'm Tracy Koga with something short and fun. This is a Hue Soundbite. Well, it has been such a long time, but I want to say it's so good to see you, Andrea, and it's so exciting that through all of this now, you've got a brand new album and some incredible songs. So I know, well, let's go right to it. Your whole journey, I guess, in creating this album, Quarantine Dream. Talk about it.
Well, nice to see you too, Tracy. I was excited to hear that I was going to have another interview with you because it's been a while since I've been back, even in your province. Quarantine Dream. I think that for me as an artist, it's like a blessing and a curse because I don't write every day, but when a catastrophe or some sort of pivotal life moment happens, songs just kind of pour out of me really quickly. And so that's what happened with this record. The pandemic hit immediately, and I was a vehicle for songwriting, and I think I just needed to process it emotionally, and also to use my music to reach out to other people. So the entire record was written and recorded mostly during lockdown. There were a few moments when the lockdown was lifted, and so I got to go over to my producer, Sarah McDougall's home in London, Ontario, and we tracked a little bit, the two of us. But it was so interesting and so challenging to do the entire record remotely, right? Hiring, I had a bunch of musicians across the country contribute and record their own pieces. I had Coldplay's violin string arranger in Denmark send over his string section. So everyone was it was like a Frankenstein, but it turned out to be really, really beautiful. So I'm happy, definitely lucky that all the pros, contributed and they knew what they were doing, and it just felt like we were connected somehow,
Yeah, and it's all about that connection. I mean, I guess now that you've gone through the process, do you see this continuing?
I really do, because now we know that we can, you know what I mean? And I feel like there are definitely highlights. For example, I wrote two of the songs on the record with two different sets of women. One was a band called Madison Violet, who are dear friends of mine, and they've been touring for the last 20 years together. We wrote End of Time. And then my girl Kinney Starr, who was out in BC, she lives now in Haida Gwaii. Her and I wrote a tune, the last tune on the record, which is one of my favorites, Free, with our other friend, Hill Corcoides, and we did it all over Zoom. We used these new tactics, these new methods of communicating. And now if I want to write with a friend who, is on a different time zone or lives in a different country, we don't need to take a flight and get together. We can do it this way. And I mean, it's missing a few nuances for sure. Like I would have loved to give those ladies a hug and hang out and have a nice, glass with them and cheers and whatnot. But anyways, it was very cool. So we know we can do it. I think we figured out and brainstormed and got creative with how to survive, especially as creatives. How do we make this work when our industry is almost shut down? So it was a beautiful thing, for sure.
And I want to say too that something like 90% of the people working on this album were female. So power to all the women. And
yeah,
and like you said it, now you know you can do it, right?
Now we know we can do it. And also, you know what? It made me really stop and think. I think a lot of people got quiet during the pandemic because we were kind of forced to be quiet, right? We were alone. And it made me realize, I've always been fighting for change and fighting for human rights and justice. And these are things that are important to me. I'm passionate about various issues that show up on my record in these songs. And having more women spearhead projects, lead projects in the music industry is a huge goal for us. And we've been fighting for it and we've been talking about it. But finally I was like, well, I need to also be the change. I need to hire these women. And if it just takes a little longer because I need to do more research because they're not coming out of the woodwork because it's been a man's world for so long. You know what I mean? So it's easy to say, oh, my best friend, she just recorded her album with this dude, I'm going to hire him. Yeah. So it's easy because it's word of mouth. But I did the research and I'm so glad I did. I had Lisa Pang sang master it. She's out in Vancouver. She's on tour with the Zolas right now. She's amazing. Sarah McDougall mixed, engineered, and produced it, right? And then we had Catherine Calder from the New Pornographers. She played piano on it. again, Madison Violet, Kinney, they're all featured guests. And of course, you know, I did hire some male musicians as well, because I love working with all human beings, but I just wanted to make sure that everyone in a leadership role, including all my film directors for all the music videos, were all women. So it was a really, really special record. It was a really special creative process. I think it's definitely my favorite to date. And it feels more like me. And we got to, because it was a collaboration between women. And I love collaborating, you know? So yeah, I can't wait for people to hear it. And I can't wait to get out your way in real life.
Yes. And I mean, okay, so for all of the female artists out there, just contact Andrea and she'll give you the names of all of the leads that she, because you know what, and just to kind of make that point again, yes, it is a male world, like, or a male dominated music industry still. After all these years and after everything that has happened, you're right, the key people, the go-to.
Well, we're pushing for it, and we're vocal, and we have been for years. But still, you look at festival lineups right across the country, and sure, you're seeing some female names now, but predominantly they're they're cis men, right? Yeah. And they're and not only from the leads, but like all the musicians involved in the bands, the people doing sound and whatnot. So we really need to create space for women to feel like they have these opportunities, you know, because they haven't been given as many. And that's all about creating space. And it really starts with us. So ladies out there, women, all my non-binary friends too, if you're making records, do the research, spend the time to see which female or non-binary artists are creating, are spearheading, are producing in your area, and hire them, because they're just gonna get that much more experience when we do hire them, and then they're going to be at the forefront, and they're going to be that name that everyone's talking about, so that they're an easy hire, you know.
Well, you know what, it'll be so exciting to be part of that change, and it's about us too, right? We always put barriers on ourselves, saying, well, no, I can't do sound, or, you know, that's a guy's job, or, you know, even setting up speakers, or, you know, setting the stage, and you know,
it's infiltrated in this patriarchal system, which like needs to be shattered, and you know, we need to restructure, right? And this is what we're doing now. I think this is what we're doing on many levels. You know, and beyond just the women thing, you know, Free is the last song on the record.
Yes.
And the song I'm about to play for you today, Quarantine Dream, these two songs really speak to the patriarchy and the injustice that continues to prevail, communities that are suffering at the hands of, you know, white supremacy, at the hands of colonization, the environment. We're letting our world slip away. We really are. We're not treating our planet with love and respect. And these are things like we need to work together, because we are so much more connected than I feel like many of us believe we are. And the minute that you realize that I am you and you're me, and we are sharing this space together on this planet, it's like, okay, then, you know, we pull up our socks and we get to work. But you can't do the work if you're ignoring all the stuff that's going on, just because it might not be happening to you in your own little bubble, right? And then, and that means that you're not realizing how connected we are. So those two songs are really, really important to me, especially right now with what's going on over in the Wet'suwet'en territory with our land defenders. You know, they're so brave. I wanted to make sure that I'm singing for them today, because I can't be out there standing with them. But I mean, like, they are protecting our waters and our earth, and fighting to make sure that, you know, for generations to come, we have a place that our children and our grandchildren can actually grow up and live. And if people can't see that, like, it's just like, you want a pipeline? You want big business corporation money? It's all about greed and selfishness. And it's like, we need to lead with our hearts. We need to lead with love, or else we're going to destroy ourselves. So, not to be dire, but these are the truths, really. We have to talk about them.
I know. And then just quickly too, I want to talk about you know, your own personal, I guess, struggles too during all of this and moving forward, and how mental health and wellness is so important. And I know that isolation and separation have been hard on a lot of people. And you know, you're gifted because you have the gift of music to write, but then there are so many others, right, that don't have that. And
honestly, I was so worried. I mean, definitely suffered and struggled, and I was so worried for people who didn't have an outlet. I thought about them constantly through this whole pandemic, or who are in, tough relationships and they were stuck indoors. I mean, there are so many struggles that probably unfolded, right? So many hardships during this time. For me, without my music and without my family, even though they were at a distance, it would have been a lot harder. So I'm so grateful. There are some tough songs on the record for sure. Carousel, it was a song I wrote in 10 minutes, but it was written during a really sort of pivotal moment where it's like, I felt like my loneliness was going to swallow me up. Like I felt like I was about to disappear because you're so disconnected from other human beings. You're so alone. And all of the things like needing to feel like you're part of a community, they don't exist for you. And so who are we if we're not in relation to one another? And I seriously felt myself slipping away. So that was a very scary moment in the process of writing the record. But again, you look back and you listen to the song and you're like, we made it through. If we're listening, that means that we got through that moment. And then being a woman and being a woman who's wanted to have a child in my life, that just didn't work out for me. I mean, I won't say never because I'm, still probably maybe have a couple of biological years. But, the pandemic sort of,
yeah.
prolonged that goal or that dream from maybe being achieved, right? So it was a tough song to write, and I'd been pushing it off for years. And I just sat down and I had to write it. I had to write it for myself. It was really therapeutic. It's called Morning Glory, and it's basically a love letter, a lullaby to my unborn child, to, the one that I never got to have. So, but I mean, I realized during this pandemic, love finds us in other ways too, maybe not the ways that we thought it might. So if you watch the video for free that Kinney and I directed, because she was over in Haida with then 8-year-old Emily Ann Pitwanaquit, who's an incredible, she's become like my daughter. She's family to me now, but she's a hoop dancer, a young Indigenous hoop dancer, who is the brightest, most beautiful, talented, soulful young lady I've ever gotten to meet. And we connected instantly. It was like we had known each other in a past life. And so it's interesting because she came into my life after I wrote Morning Glory, and I was like, you know what? I get to kind of live that maternal love in another way, just because she's not my blood. She feels like family, and it's so beautiful to have her in my life. So actually, I just gave her a guitar lesson yesterday. I went over to visit them, and so cute. So she's in the video, and she helped us direct it at 8 years old. Just an astonishing young woman. I hope everyone checks out that video for sure.
Okay, well, Andrea, it's been so wonderful, and the next one definitely we'll see you back here in Winnipeg and performing, and live performance. You can't beat it, but for now we will enjoy you virtually. So you're going to do Quarantine Dream, and we'll do a little adjustment on your mic. And thank you again. It's been so much fun. And congratulations. Quarantine Dream, Andrea Ramolo, her new album, and take it away, Andrea.
Thank you. Is that okay for volume?
Yeah.
It's been hard losing sleep, making peace with it, watching fires burn our broken skies apart. In the mornings I wake with the fear of it, hoping that we learn to let go, to start all over. I can't sleep anymore. We've seen bombs flying, mothers crying, babies dying. We watch greed take over everything we love. Still we climb higher, hurt each other, blame our brothers. I think that it's time to wake up, because I can't sleep anymore. centuries. Quarantine dream where everybody is free now, and we lead with that fierce love, that fierce love. Sand is slipping through the hourglass, there's no stopping it, and the days are getting shorter now and cold. I can still remember when you kissed me last September. It's those memories that keep me from getting old. I can't sleep anymore. There's so much beauty to be living for. This is my quarantine dream, where you're here with me, and we push through the pain of the last few centuries. My quarantine dream, where everybody is free now, and we lead with that fierce love, that fierce love. I don't want to believe it anymore. We can make this life worth living for. This is my quarantine dream, where you're here with me, and we lead with that fierce love, that fierce love. Lead with that fierce love, that fierce love. Lead with that fierce love, that fierce love.